Alright, welcome back everybody. So, as promised, I don't even know how many leak check this is of the right tank after doing those fixes the other day. And immediately I'm just going ahead and spraying the corners, because I know that was my biggest problem. And best I can tell, there's nothing coming out of the corners anymore. But that entire top row of rivets right there, where I only had two before that I had sealed, now there seems to be a bunch leaking. Well, there'll be more to come. True statement. The truth is, there shouldn't be any air getting to those rivets to be able to even leak out. There should be a bead of sealant on the backside of that baffle and skin, keeping it from getting there. So the fact that it is just coming out at random rivets means that I don't have a good bead there, and it's always going to be problematic. And if I don't address it correctly, then it's just going to seep later on. Even though it's on the top of the tank, eventually I'll start getting blue dye stains from the fuel and everything else. So it's got to be done. It's got to be done right. So, like I said, more to come. In the interim, figured since I was fresh off of doing the left leading edge light cutout, I would go ahead and do the right one. Definitely went much quicker the second time now that I knew pretty much what I was doing with it. Went straight for the Dremel tool this time. Much easier. The file work went a little better this time too, since I have an idea of what I'm doing. Didn't accomplish a whole lot today, just some little stuff like this, but I mean, it all adds up. Get the work in where you can. It's very interesting to see the rolling shutter of the camera making that LED drop light look like it's flickering when it's really not. Sorry about that. I'll try to remember to turn the light off in the future when I'm just sitting it there on the bench, so it's not driving all of us crazy. Got the hole cut out, taking the Vixen file, cleaning up the edges, and I know if you watched the last video you saw me do all of this before. Again, I'm documenting all of this for my build log and everything else, so I figure I might as well throw the video up there. And who knows, maybe if you're watching it you'll see something or some trick or something I did different, or get a better angle that helps you out with your build. I am still waiting to hear back. I tried calling again today, left another voicemail for that missing bracket for my Ductworks kit. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I'm not in a huge rush for it. I can't do anything with it really until I get the LEDs to put in there, and that's going to be a ways out still, probably several weeks. So not a huge rush. If it really comes down to it and I don't hear anything else, it'll be disappointing, but I have the other bracket. I can figure out how to fabricate one of my own if I have to. So got that all straightened up, all the edges cleaned up, everything to the line right where I wanted it, put the template back on, get the hardware kit back out, and then you take those brackets there and use those as drill guides to drill through the skin. Those will eventually be on the back side and hold the plexi in place. None of that is going to happen until I've got the lights and got them installed. So this is pretty much as far as I'm taking it, is just getting everything prepped, getting the nut plates in for the brackets, and then I'm going to leave it at that. Now, one thing, I didn't get the bracket that has the 4-inch hole in it for a par 36 light, I think is what it's called. Instead, I opted for a blank one because I wasn't sure if I'd have to do something slightly different with the cutout for the Fly LEDs kit. I don't think I'm going to have to. I could have saved myself some work by just getting the ones that already have the cutout in it. live and learn. That being said, I needed to figure out where the center of that opening for the light is on the bracket. So when I do make a hole in it, I make it dead center on the opening. It would be real discouraging to have that light not centered on the opening in the lens that it's supposed to be shining out of. So here in a minute you'll see my solution for how to find the center and get it marked on that bracket. Right now I am getting those nut plates drilled, getting them final sized, and then I'm going to clean up all the holes and use the pull riveter there and pop some rivets in and hold those nut plates in place. Like I said, much quicker and easier the second go around. I think all of this took me maybe 45 minutes this morning. So there's the final cleaned up opening. And here is what I did to find the center. Set up the laser level, got the leading edge all leveled up, marked where the center of the opening was, shot the beam across that, and then that gave me a nice transfer straight across to the back. Went ahead, marked it, and I have since punched a small hole right in the center, and that'll be my guide for making the bigger hole later on. Anyhow, with that out of the way, back to finishing what I started with, that section of top skin. I needed to get all those center holes dimpled. I thought this was all before work this morning, and then I thought after work this afternoon I'd go back out there and try and hit that other top wing skin, but it was too hot and I lost the motivation to go out there this afternoon. So I'll get it. But I did get this done, and you'll see here in a second I'm going to temporarily hang it back up. Now that kerf joint that I filed is in that upper left corner where it overlaps the inboard skin. Now the inboard skin is thicker than the outboard skin. The outboard skin is thinner than the fuel tank skin. So if you notice, the fuel tank still extends another almost, 7 inches, 8 inches over that bottom outboard skin. And the kerf joint is there to thin both sides out so that it doesn't stick up and you have a nice joint right there. But I also noticed that that remaining 7 inches or so to the right, that outboard skin is thinner than the fuel tank skin, and there's a definitive lip there. So I wanted to see if I could shim that. I took the thinnest sheet stock I had. I can't remember what the size is. I can go find out if somebody really wants to know. I cut it to start halfway between the second hole in after the overlap and stop half a hole before the end of where the fuel tank is. And then I thinned it out with the Scotch-Brite wheel to taper it down to almost nothing where it ends. Drilled the holes, dimpled it, put it in there, and now that section of bottom skin is almost dead flush with the fuel tank. And where it blends in, it's almost unnoticeable. So, I don't know, little detail. Might only do it to the tops. So my fix for the fuel tanks, I'll try and video it, and I'm going to start on it tomorrow. It's going to involve this tool. Things are going to get real ugly before they get a lot better, but it's what I got to do. Stick around. I'll see you on the next one.